He's never fought us. Not us united.
My favorite moment in the entire... Maybe I should complicate this before I start speaking here.
Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared, and today we're talking about why the Snyder Cut works and the Whedon Cut does not. So first, let me
roll the clip.
Yeah. First, I'm not going to... See, I'm going to do it this one time, but I'm not going to do it like the entire episode, because otherwise the entire episode will be like the...
Why did you say that name?
We're just doing it once to get out. So basically, that one clip is going. Just imagine that clip happening every time we say it.
It's going to apply to every time I say it. So first off, I got Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, dude?
Hello there.
And making his grand debut to Under Two Capes is Jay Heat. What's up, brother?
What's up?
And we got Taladia Plays. What's up, Britt?
What's up? What's up, everybody? And
You know,
it's actually my first debut as well. So
No, you were on like a... I think you were on an episode a while back.
Also,
no, this is recorded, and this is recorded. This is the first.
Oh, recorded. Yeah, okay, pre-recorded. What's up, Nick?
also, this is the first time that the Josstice League has been fully assembled.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Now we got the boys. So let me. Okay, so we're talking about again why the Snyder Cut works and the Whedon Cut failed. So I'm gonna start. Because the Whedon Cut felt too much like an Avengers movie with Justice League skins on it. It didn't feel distinctly DC. Where when you look at the Snyder Cut, and I tweet this all the time, that is a DC movie. Like, that's the most DC movie that's ever come out from DC.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd agree to that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, it's when you put Joss Whedon put too much of his Avengers humor in the Justice League, like the Flash falling on Wonder Woman, the thirsty line. None of this stuff works in DC.
To be fair, if he had done the movie from the start, it would have been better.
Yeah, what's up, Talia?
Not saying it would have been good, but it would have been better.
I was gonna say that he also had the buttocks scene from Wonder Woman in the plane.
The camera's conveniently on her rear the entire time. It gets out of the car.
There is a lot of Gal Gadot ass shots in the Justice League Cut. Like at first, like when I first saw that, it's like, oh, that's Zack Snyder. Oh, like I believe all the propaganda. Like, all those ass shots are Zack Snyder. He's being horny. And then when you watch,
that fails to a degree, but it's a Nightwing situation. It borderlines objectication.
Yeah, like to be fair, Gal Gadot has a nice ass, and I don't mind looking at it. I don't mind it, but I'm trying to watch Wonder Woman. If I want to look at Gal Gadot's ass, I'll Google it.
There's the internet for that. Yeah, exactly. But
or the Fast and Furious movies.
Or the Fast and the Furious movies, where that's part of the formula. But
it's literally part of the plot.
Yeah, it's literally. But you see, the thing is, when you're looking at and that is the issue. Yeah, Nick, here's the thing. It would have been better than it was, but it wouldn't have been good. It wouldn't have been good because, again, Joss Whedon is not good for a Justice. He could have done, like, what character? He could have done a Dr. Psycho movie.
I mean, honestly, he could have done Suicide Squad. Like, if they wanted to do, like, the jokey Suicide Squad, Joss Whedon would have been a better pick than David Ayer.
Could.
And maybe at Teen Titans, if you're going like the campy Golden Age Titan roster, maybe something like that.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine what he would have done to Starfire?
No.
My gosh.
We do not want Whedon touching any
Keep that man away from my
Remember,
princess.
He almost did Batgirl.
He would.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
I said the Golden Age roster: Robin, Aqualad, Wonder Girl.
Whedon had a Wonder Woman script where, if you read that, it's the most misogynistic thing. It's Joss Whedon. It's the most misogynistic thing you've ever read.
Also, fun fact: his pick for Wonder Woman back in the day was Kobe Smulders. You know, the one who eventually played Maria Hill.
She could do it, I guess. But see,
she is too small of a frame. She would have to build just a little bit more muscle, but she could do it.
She's not intimidating enough to be Wonder Woman. Where when you see like Gal Gadot and her little angry battle face, no, that's Wonder Woman. That is Wonder Woman.
There's been times where we've seen Maria Hill being a BA, and I could see shades.
I'm gonna play this. Hey, hang on, Taladia. I'm gonna play this. You could only get this with Gal Gadot. You can only get that with Gal Gadot.
I really like the slight smile. She does.
Because Superman had just come back, and she has that smile like, "Oh, you're screwed." What's Ladia?
I was gonna say is that I don't want any Marvel actor to come into the DC to basically ruin the thing, because if you think about it, the only people I consider DC material, like maybe Zachary Levi, but but he was screwed over by Marvel. But he was screwed over.
Pratt could actually play a good Booster Gold.
I could see Chris Pratt, but like other actors,
that's a pretty good casting.
But what I'm saying is minor actors, not major characters. Minor actors that didn't get a big major part in the Marvel films. Like some of them got royally screwed over, like Zachary Levi did. Royally did. And that's why Zachary Levi is in the DC universe now. As by the way, it's not called DCEU anymore, guys.
DCU.
It's called DCU, and it's done by DC Studios. So we're just gonna mention that right now. And the fact is, go on, Nick. You go ahead before.
No, Jared. Did you raise your hand first?
No. I was doing this as in
stretching.
Yes.
Okay.
Stretching.
To be fair, DC never called their universe a DCEU. That was always a fan thing. Like they never actually gave it that moniker. So this is them giving it an official moniker now.
They tried to call it the Worlds of DC, but that didn't catch on.
No, that didn't catch on.
It sounds Disney.
They tried it. I think when Aquaman first showed it, the Sizzler reel that they did at the Comic-Con in 2017, 2018?
2017.
Good, yeah.
No, Comic-Con 2016. It came out in 2017.
No, Aquaman came out in 2019. Remember?
2019 was because it came out the same day as Bumblebee.
Oh, okay.
A very underrated movie from what I hear. Like I haven't seen Bumblebee, but I heard it was
very underrated.
It's good, but if you actually compare it to Thrones of Atlantis, it's pretty much a shot for shot.
Well, I love Aquaman. I love Aquaman. I legitimately love that movie, but I was talking about Bumblebee.
No, but what I was gonna say is that the thing is, the reason why Aquaman did so well was because they kind of jumped the thing ahead of what Zack Snyder was doing already, so they already knew they had a plan with Snyder. So
when you think about it, they've always been following Snyder's plan, because when you look at what he wanted for like Aquaman, that's exactly what he wanted for Aquaman. Like, if you read the storyboards, that's exactly his original plan.
Yeah, a few small details got tweaked along the way, but in the broad stroke sense, yes.
Which, fun fact, and Patty Jenkins backed this up, all of the DC directors consider Zack's version canon.
Yeah.
They completely forgot that the Whedon Cut existed, as well as the entire along with the entire fan base.
Majority.
Because here's the thing, Snyder has been largely out of the DC game for almost 5 years now, yet they haven't made any move to 6 years now. Zack's Josstice League, notwithstanding, but like they've had plenty of opportunity to literally do a clean break from his world, but like they haven't even rebooted, soft reboot at best, and like they just continue playing in a toy box.
If they really wanted to get 100% away from Zack, they should have done Flash immediately and just wiped away everything.
Yeah. They should have just done Flashpoint if they wanted to wipe everything from Zack's work.
But they didn't, because you know why? Warner Brothers was lazy enough, and they didn't have a plan.
Wait.
I have to play the clip. Hang on, where is it? Here it
comes.
Yeah, it's like at Warner Brothers.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so I was going to bring this up. The fact is, you're getting it wrong. Don't get it mixed. It's Warner Media.
Warner Media, yeah.
Warner Media.
So it's not Warner Brothers, because now they're called Warner Brothers.
Wait. When wasn't Warner Media after AT&T bought them out? We got the Snyder Cut, or were they Warner Media before that?
They were Warner Media, but AT&T bought them. They were still under Warner Media
And
brand
here's the
name.
thing. Speaking of that, the Snyder Cut was released by Warner Max. And what's interesting is that they were going to continue. There were plans to continue the Snyderverse after the Snyder Cut, but Toby Emmerich took over Warner Max and shut it down, so that didn't happen. That's the level of petty these people were.
I think it's just more ego than anything, but
petty, yeah.
But I was going to also bring this up because we're talking about Warner Media. This also affects right now is that new DC heads are also covering everything from movies, TV shows, and now, interestingly enough,
animation.
Not only animation, or interestingly enough, I was told there's gaming as well.
That could be interesting. Maybe we'll get consistent versions of these characters. But
yeah, cohesive universe.
Getting back to this, the other thing that really bothers me about the Whedon Cut is the color grading. Because if you notice, they literally just increased the saturation on everything. The skin tones was like much brighter. It looked unnatural.
The editing it didn't flow at all. The less said about that mustache, the better.
Oh yeah, and the mustache. I love how, by the way, that's the first shot. Literally the first shot. Superman with the stupid lip.
No, but
in their defense, I guess I'm playing the devil's advocate this stream. In their defense, they kind of didn't really have much of a choice because he was shooting Mission Impossible Fall. You know, like the
actually they did. You know what they could have done? Put a fake beard on him,
or just use stock footage, just like the Snyder Cut did, and have have the first shot be directly after Superman gets stabbed.
See the problem with that is if they're shooting new footage, you know, there'll literally be scenes where it's like new footage mixed with old footage. So like 1 minute he'll have a goatee or a mustache or whatever, the next minute he won't. So it doesn't really, or like one scene he will, one scene he won't. So that really doesn't work out. And so like they're really pressed for time. I feel like if they had given the CG people more time, they could have made it look better. But you know, it's not like they chose to make that look bad, is what I'm trying to say.
Here's what I would have done at that time. I would have delayed the film by 1 or 2 years. Try to at least advocate like we have nothing else going. We kind of screwed up trying to copy Marvel. Don't openly admit it, but behind the scenes they screwed up. After Zack Snyder's had time to grieve, come back, wrap up Justice League, cut back an hour and a half back. And at least then you would have had an improved product. It wouldn't have been the full Snyder Cut, but it would have been.
I would have made Justice League Zack's last chance. If this fails, you're done. Go ahead, Nick.
First off, I agree with you, J-Heat. That would have been the best idea. The problem is this is a studio that cut BVS down to 2 hours so they have more showing so they can make their quarterly bonuses. That is the level of petty and greediness.
Not only that,
incompetence.
They knew Josstice League was bad when they released it. Executives have come out and said, yeah, we knew it was a bad movie when we released it. And the worst part, it still says directed by Zack Snyder. So they put the blame on Zack for their own crappy decisions.
Yeah, because Zack does get a credit in that film. Technically,
a director's credit. It's and not even a credit because he did not direct that version of the movie. To this day, Zack has not watched that movie. I would love for Zack to do a watch party on Vero of that version of the movie and watch. It would be hilarious because now that he has the closure of the Snyder Cut coming out and it being infinitely better, because I would love to see his reaction. But it's kind of funny when I sat down to watch the Snyder Cut. In the back of my mind, I was like, please don't suck. Please don't suck. And what's the first shot? Normal lip Superman. Literally the first shot is normal lip Superman.
No, but you also got to remember, with this, when they did the Snyder Cut version of Justice League, this was directly already been shot after BVS.
Mm-hmm.
So they already planned that ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to remember that. And they already pre-planned everything from the costume design by the way, great costume design by Michael Wilkinson.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Never doubt that guy because he made the greatest DC universe or DCU modern day Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman costume of all time. It has
texture. Even the Hot Toys recreates that. It has texture.
Not only texture, but inscriptions in the suit.
Yeah, it's the They have the hero's journey in Kryptonian on the S.
Yeah, not where it says, "Oh, hope is like a car key, easy to
Yeah,
use."
yeah. That's another thing. You had really cheap. Because here's the thing: what they were trying to do is they were trying to go back to Christopher Reeves because some vocal minority fans on Twitter believe that the only legitimate version, emphasis on the word version, of Superman of the DCU is in the Christopher Reeves version and the DCAU. Granted, they're both great versions for their times, but what people have to realize is that these are wholly every time they restart a universe, it's a different every time a new writer comes on a character, it's a new version. There's no definitive version. Yes,
we don't talk about Bendis.
No, but it's a bad version. But
why did you say that name?
What I mean is that there's no definitive version of these characters. We just prefer Snyder's version. What's up, Taladia?
So I was going to bring this up, right? Even though there's different themes for interpretations for Superman, the character, there's no doubt, like, yeah, John Williams for the time of the 70s, the 90s, we had Shirley Walker doing the animated stuff. By the way, she's a great rest of soul. She did a great stuff back in the day. And now we got Hans Zimmer, who's doing the Man of Steel theme, and even Danny Garcia and Haim Garcia knows what score to use. What would I personally have liked if they did went back in time in 2017? I would love to have seen a mixture of both Man of Steel theme and Superman score combined together,
like they did in Black Adam. Yes, like Nick.
What they could do is this would be actually a really cool passing of the torch kind of thing, where they start like I'm playing off with Taladia's idea. Is where you start with the Reeves theme, and then it kind of slowly transitions into the Man of Steel theme. Like it's like it starts off one way, and then like they start overlapping, and then like Reeves kind of starts to fade off, and then the Man of Steel theme plays, where it's like a passing of the torch kind of thing.
And there are edits that do that, by the way. It was kind of funny when you look at Black Adam. I know a lot of Snyder fans were pissed off that they used the Williams theme. What you have to realize is that that's most likely because that was what they had licensed at the time. They didn't have time to get like more music done. What's up, Nick? What's up, Taladia?
I was going to also say that when they did this Black Adam scene for Superman, it was shot within literally after the SDCC. Mm-hmm. That was also confirmed by Henry Cavill. So they wouldn't have time to just let's do this score, because it would take literally time and effort. They would have to credit Hans Zimmer. They need permission from Hans Zimmer as well to use that. Even though it's property of Warner Brothers, but they would have to credit him as well, and that would take a lot of time to do all of that in the post-credit as well.
I mean, it still works because it's like the return of Superman. I get what they're doing. It works for what they're doing for that scene. I just hope that if they use the Williams theme for like Man of Steel 2, they at least use like a changed version, because that was the other thing about my problem with Josstice League. They took like the Batman 1989 theme and the Superman John Williams theme and just copy and pasted them without changing them for these characters. Yes, Nick?
Again, devil's advocate. I think Danny Elfman, who was the guy who did the score, literally had like no time to do this score. Like they called him in like last minute, and so he kind of just like he literally just dusted off his Batman. I guess he's the one who did the 1989 score, so it's like he's just, if he's plagiarizing anyone, he's plagiarizing himself. So I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's all I'm doing.
It's a solid argument. I mean, to be fair,
it's an argument I understand. He didn't have time. Ultimately, it comes down to Warner Brothers should have given this movie more time. But unfortunately, well, let me this way: in an ideal world, it's not even that they would have given Whedon more time. They should have just given Snyder time to grieve, and then he comes back and not been a-holes about it, and let him finish his movie. Treat Justice League as his last chance, because if Justice League had come out like the Snyder Cut, granted, like shortened to
the only reason, and the main reason BVS was bad, because you were essentially adapting Frank Miller's work. First of all, in context, Frank Miller's work is a very developed story in relation to the characters. Mm-hmm. It really is. So you essentially try to cram a Batman and what's essentially a Superman sequel, pit them against each other. It's pure marketing, but story-wise, it does not make sense in context.
And they cut the important plot points out of the movie. What's up, Taladia?
So I put in a link in the chat. You can hear it yourself, right? In the private chat, so you can listen to it. What I was talking about when the mixture between the classic and the modern together, and that is a really cool theme that they could have done for future movies.
I'm listening to it right now.
It works really. This works.
This would work, wouldn't it?
Yes. Why did see that would have worked? That would have worked.
It would appease both fans.
Yeah, at least it would. Let me this way. It would have been a good compromise for the time. Had they had the time, this is what they would have gone with. But I feel like if they had the time, they would have just let Zack grieve. But once again, at that point, it wasn't like the only thing Warner Brothers was thinking of was get Zack out. Yeah, Nick.
Okay, I think we need to. You touched upon why Zack like Zack leaving. I think we kind of need to address that elephant in the room.
Go on, Nick.
May I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the reason why Zack Snyder left, or at the very least, this is the excuse that Warner Brothers used, is his daughter committed suicide. Okay,
a moment of silence.
R.I.P. Autumn.
Thank you.
Yes, for Autumn. And that's gonna mess anyone up. And that honestly, that just makes how they treated him that much more freaking disgusting. I want to say the F word, but
it's scummy.
Can I have one F word pass, please?
No. Well, actually, it's pre-recorded. I'll just bleep it, so it's all good.
It's disgusting what they did to him.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
I'm sorry.
Wait, since we're gonna bleep most of this out anyway, Nick, go nuts.
No. Please, because it'll make my bleeping a lot easier.
Don't worry.
Poppycock.
By the way,
yeah. All right.
I put it in the private chat. The mark where you need to bleep it.
Oh, thank you. So that's very
poppycock.
But anyway,
that's why heckin' nerds.
That's why I have literally no sympathy for who was fired. Literally none. Because here's the thing.
You need to get that Joker clip from Joaquin Phoenix. You get what you deserve.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That was the outward. That was the Warner Brothers reason. The real reason was Zack was fine coming back. It's just then he had to fight with Warner Brothers to keep his movie somewhat coherent. So he's like, you know what? I don't have the time or I don't have the energy after what just happened to my daughter to deal with this. So I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah.
So that's really what happened. And at that point, and that's the thing. Warner Brothers used his dead daughter as an excuse to boot him out of his own movie and butcher it, and then still blame him for really the reason that Whedon Cut saying directed by Zack Snyder is really Warner blaming him. So at that point, I have no sympathy. I'm glad all those people are out of a job.
Not only that, but they will never get back into Hollywood. Period. Is anyone going to really employ Walter Hamada? No. Is anyone going to really employ?
I wouldn't be surprised they got blacklisted for what they did.
It's kind of funny. When the merger happened, I think that Emmerich's agent was shopping around for at Netflix for a position for him, and they said no. No, we got nothing for him.
Yeah, and that's because Zack was already there anyway, and the fact is Zack already probably gave them the heads up that look, I don't want to work with someone that is going to be manipulative towards the system.
Yeah, what's up, Nick?
I guarantee you, Taladia, that's exactly what went down because Netflix, they saw Roland Emmerich, he used to work at Warner Brothers. We have this person named Zack Snyder who's making us money. Who's doing stuff for us that's making us money, who's an active investment. Let's talk to him. Let's get his thoughts on it. And as soon as Zack Snyder's no.
His name is Toby Emmerich, not Roland Emmerich.
Oh, I got my Emmerich wrong.
I know
And
that
I
because when he left, people were playing that clip from The Office of Michael going bye Toby. Yeah, what's up what's up, Jay Heat?
And Warner Max could have worked. You could have continued the Snyderverse strictly as HBO Max exclusive and gotten way more subscriptions and money that way.
Because there are significantly amount of people who joined because of the Snyder Cut. What's up, Taladia?
I was gonna say also the problem is as well Warner Max is also like in the UK right now. Sky has the rights to it, so we don't have HBO Max. So we have to wait 5 years potentially before we get HBO Max services in the UK. And the fact is as well, I don't want to bring this up because this is kind of big news. There is kind of a news going around that Superman and Lois potentially could be cancelled, and that David Zaslav wants to stick to one Superman, and it is Cavill's Superman. And the fact is, it's going to be because he just wants to have that. We doesn't want to have multiple Supermans on screen at different.
It's good synergy, but I would hate to see Superman and Lois get canceled because of it.
That was the one CW show that was good.
And that's not saying much.
Yeah, that is true. But at the end of the day, I mean, it won awards, yes. But I think at the end of the day, what WBD are doing is for the greater good, and we are going to get the Snyderverse. Well, the Snyderverse is restored. I don't know what we're saying. The Snyderverse.
Snyder Cut is canon. As long as the Snyder Cut is canon, the Snyderverse is restored.
Yeah, the Snyderverse is restored. Like we got Cavill back, we got Ben Affleck back, we got Gal Gadot back.
And as far as we know, they're going to a version of his plans.
Yeah, and the whole Snyder Cut thing too. It's like it's all canon because
there's definitely retooling in order.
Always was.
Oh, yes, always was. Yes, and the fact is, going forward now, like they will use elements from what Snyder did in his previous movies, like BVS, Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and use those elements from certain chapters and put that into their movies. Like Shazam Fury of the Gods is the next movie up now, and they're gonna instantly take that out from the Wonder Woman film, Wonder Woman 17, right? Wonder Woman, yeah, we'll call it Wonder Woman 17, right? Because I don't want to get confused. So Wonder Woman 17 and Zack Snyder's Justice League were the backstory for the Themyscira stuff. And the rumor is that obviously we know that the rumor of course is that Gal Gadot potentially could be Shazam Fury of the Gods, and
which makes sense.
Which would make sense, and there is Fury of the Gods in Shazam 2, so it makes logical sense to have the Snyder Cut involvement in that, and it was in the freaking trailer too.
Yeah, and you notice one more thing I want to say. What's interesting is that it's interesting how after Zaslav took over, that's when we got like the Snyder Cut icons on HBO Max, which you could say, well, they always do that for movies. Not a year after the movie came out. When Suicide Squad came out, it was like that. They instantly had those available. Now they have them available, including Ray Fisher Cyborg. And the Snyder Cut characters, the Snyder Cut versions were used as the poster for the DCU.
Yes.
And here's a sequel idea for Black Adam. I know he's a champion. They essentially crown him like, I don't know if they'll go full Democratic, but they essentially make him not just protector, but leader of the country. This would technically violate his prison deal with Waller. And then she sends Captain Adam to his Captain Adam, and we get a Captain Adam Black Adam fight.
That'd be interesting. I give that to Black Adam, because the problem with Captain Adam is that if you cut his suit in any way, he's gone.
It'd be a good fight, though.
It'd be a good fight. But here's the thing: we're never going to get the Snyder plan exactly as outlined on those original storyboards. And Snyder himself exactly said so. He said, "If I come back, since we know what happens if he were to go back to that, he's like, no, I want there to be some surprise. He's going to modify it severely, like really modify it, which I'm fine with because it's still Zack Snyder telling the story, but he's going to change it so there's a little bit of surprise in there. Like Lois Lane is not going to be carrying Bruce's child, which was stupid in the beginning.
Yeah, as long
as if he's going to be carrying any child, it's going to be a half Kryptonian baby.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the John Kent version that you want, Tevia. I'm just telling you right there.
I love how as soon as I said it, we
if we were live right now, Tevye would definitely be would definitely swoop in and make.
He
You know
would
what?
appear.
He'll be here. You know what? At midnight, guys. Midnight UK time. He'll be in the stream, guaranteed. When me and the Phoenix Press are gonna be doing our thing, and we're gonna be talking about this stuff. But I think though, but there's not gonna be John Kent. There's not gonna be Damian Wayne, because they're not gonna focus on those characters at the moment. What they're gonna focus on is the core characters: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the core Justice League members, and they want to establish them.
Speaking of Super Sons, who has the bigger IP, Damian Wayne or John Kent separately?
John Kent because he's associated with Superman.
I'd say Damian.
I'd say Damian as well, because Damian has a more of an established. I know Jared is just like
Actually, that's true because Damian has existed for longer than John.
Since 2006. Well, arguably 1987, but
no, Damian Wayne is actually established in 2006, I think. Batman.
Son of the Demon, 1987. Ivan Zufrosh, Kingdom Come, 1997. The canon version, Damian Wayne, 2006.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about canon. I'm not talking about.
Okay, we're talking pure canon, then yes, 2006. If you're counting his overall concept, then 1987.
Because if you want to talk about semi-non-canon version, there's also Helena Wayne from Earth 2 in the 80s.
Yeah, Helena Wayne. Yeah. But I was going to say that but Damian Wayne's portrayal and stuff in the film and stuff, I don't think that'll happen now. I'll be maybe 10, 15 years down the line when things have settled down and when they've got stories established for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Those characters desperately need this.
I could see it if it was a Batman Reborn movie with Dick Grayson's Batman, and we get a proper adaptation of Grant Morrison's work.
Do you know what? Cool. That could work.
That could work after if they keep the Batman dies at the end of Justice League 3 plot point. That could 100% work.
That could 100% work. Yeah, because you gotta remember, Snyder's teases is Final Crisis,
and Batman dies at the end of Final Crisis.
So if that's the case, right, we could have Dick Grayson as Batman in the DCEU because they're gonna reshape everything, right?
Yeah.
Remember before they said Dick Grayson is dead. Now they changed that completely, different storyboards. And I've seen people say, "Oh, we need to have Zack Snyder's old storyboard back." No, it's not happening, guys.
Not happening.
Deal with it.
That will not. That 100% will not happen. Zack even said so.
Yeah. So, people said, that makes that fan-made project. I know you guys are eager to have that, but it's not gonna happen, I'm afraid. So.
Maybe as a comic book years down the line, maybe, but that's a big maybe. But anyway, going back to what I was saying is that I think the other reason why is because the Whedon Cut left out important points that make these characters feel more like characters. And what I mean by that, and Talati and I were talking about this, is that they took out Ray Fisher's cyborg part. They could have put a condensed version of it in this movie, but they were convinced, by the way, they wanted a 2-hour, straight 2-hour movie, even though most Marvel movies are 2.5 hours at max.
So they
could have pulled it off, but it was wrong on both sides. Jeff Johns and Whedon were in the wrong. And you can argue through social media, Ray Fisher was making a bit of a diva of himself, but he was royally screwed over, so that's understandable.
Yeah, plus, honestly, all the Justice League people have since come out and confirmed, Joss is a D-bag.
Yeah,
including Gal Gadot.
And that woman is the epitome of class. You don't talk crap about anybody.
It takes a lot to get Gal Gadot upset or sad.
And here's the funny thing. As soon as Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada were fired, she put out with a smile, picture of herself smiling.
I know.
On the same day he got fired.
Yeah.
That woman, I love that woman so much.
She is literally Wonder Woman.
Hamada will forever spin it that he left on his own terms. No, they offered you.
If he left of his own terms, what's kind of funny is that also The Rock even said the old regime sucked.
You want to know a very clear way why he left with prejudice? usually with these kind of people, when they leave, they offer them a production deal, kind of like with Amy Pascal. With like when she she basically kind of attached herself to Spider-Man. That's why Amy Pascal's kind of still around, even though she was the one responsible for the Ghostbusters 2016 debacle, among many other things.
God.
Yeah, but she's still hanging around because she created a production company, and that's kind of standard practice in the industry, is you get them a production deal. Walter Hamada, he declined it.
Sure he did. Sure he did.
Sure.
Emmerich accepted it. He has a production deal.
Like, seriously, someone's phone going off right now?
Not
Not
me.
mine.
Huh.
It's not my notification.
It's not mine because I'm on computer.
Yeah, but
my notification is like a Zelda thing. So if that was going off, you know me.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. But anyway, I think, and the thing about the reason why the Snyder Cut works, and this gets into the fact that it's 4 hours, which let's address the elephant in the room. The reason why it's 4 hours is because no one thought that they would do anything more than release the Snyder Cut. It's just meant, okay, so let's say we don't get any more Snyder stuff. Here's everything he wanted to do. Here you go. It's everything is within a degree, everything because we didn't get Jon Stewart Green Lantern, but hopefully we will get that soon. But and Talati and I were talking about this before we started recording. It's basically 5 movies put into one, because like all the Justice League have mini origin movies, and then you have the main Justice League movie. That's the difference. It wasn't just 5 people showing up and fighting. No, it's 5 people. Each gets character. They tease what's going to happen in their movies. Like Aquaman has the whole Atlantis versus Surface world thing. We have Vulko showing up. We have essentially the Wonder Woman thing.
But I don't think Cyborg would ever get his own full-fledged movie. He would play a contributing role. He would play a contributing role. But I think the best use of Cyborg would be his liaison role with Titans, and then spin off into Teen Titans.
Yeah, exactly.
No. That would be the best use for him.
But we gotta remember,
but he was going to get his movie in the original plan.
And also as well, you gotta remember they're taking inspiration from the New 52. Huge inspiration from the New 52.
He had his own comic run.
Yeah. So
I thought that was in the DCU era, not New 52.
No. It was New 50. It was New 52. So Man of Steel up to Zack Snyder's Justice League was the New 52 run.
Okay. Yeah, that's true, because I mean, Justice League was coming out around the time of the transition to Rebirth, because it was like 2016, 2017 is when they transitioned to Rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was New 52 era. So that's what it took inspiration from. Like Batman's, like you got to see like the brooding Batman, right? And it kind of got like elements from the New 52, but at the same time you got the Frank Miller stuff for it. And
the Snyderverse. Actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Slayer.
I was gonna say Wonder Woman's as well. Like her story is literally taken from the new. Some of it's from the New 52, some of it's from Rebirth, but her story literally is there telling.
I would say that like the Snyderverse is basically an amalgamation of the New 52 and the Millerverse. Pretty much that's what it is.
Yeah, and
sounds about right.
But add on top of this, guys, is that Whedon didn't do any of that. He didn't take any inspiration from the comics. He literally just ran with, I made an Avengers film. I'll just make it look like an Avengers film.
I'll just make it. Well, he did take inspiration from comics. It's just the wrong company's comics.
Yeah,
I would argue he just ripped off Avengers 2012. He just blatantly ripped it off. I mean,
that's what he did. Yeah. There's no reason to have like a red sky. There's no reason to have a Russian family camped out next to a destroyed nuclear reactor.
But
I still don't understand that.
But I still appreciate the Superman versus Flash race at the end. That's that movie's only redeeming quality.
Kind of.
I will say that scene with Batman in Gotham hunting the parademons, that's actually kind of a cool scene. Like I will say that scene. And I love
the idea is cool.
Like the sound design of like the whirling thing, and like also you can see like putting the Janus cosmetics up there, which is like Black Mask. Like, come on, the fact that they did a Black Mask shout out. You gotta admit, that's a cool reference.
The dialogue sucked because like parademons smell fear. Since when? And it just doesn't.
So if that's the case, how come they're not they weren't constantly swarming Joss Whedon?
Yeah, I know, but my one redeeming quality of the Whedon cut is that scene actually following that, where it's the montage of the world without Superman. See, that I could see the redeeming quality in, because again, that's what it shows. I mean, they still did it pretty well in the Snyder cut, and I prefer the way the Snyder cut did it. But I'm saying that's the one part of the Whedon cut that I like. Now let's talk about the character scenes that the Snyder cut did better. What I mean by that is that they immediately cut out the Flash going back in time and saving everyone, and exchanged it for a scene where he's saving a Russian family in a truck to immediately be undermined by Superman. Superman's arrival into the battle, while yes, it's a tribute to John Williams, doesn't make much sense when you have someone. Yeah, it doesn't make sense when you actually, Nick. It doesn't even go into the rest of the John Williams theme. It goes into their really crappy Justice League theme. But what I mean is that it doesn't make sense that Superman would let Cyborg have his leg ripped off. That's the first part of why the Snyder cut entrance of Superman looks better, because it's the axe falling on the shoulder. Second off,
play it. You need to play.
I will, just 1 second. But also, Superman distinctly in this universe makes a sonic boom when he arrives. It's not, and he just shows up. But like this way, compare that to this.
Not impressed.
Wait. And yeah, see, that's why it's better.
You really do just have the entire movie uploaded as StreamYard, don't you?
Just my favorite scenes.
The entire movie is your favorite scene.
True, that's true. But that's my point. It's like, by the way, how much of a great FU to the old regime was it when with Tony Emmerich in attendance, the Flash scene won an Oscar?
That was an actual middle finger to the old regime.
That was literally a middle finger to the old regime.
You know what I would have done? I would have took the award, and it was going to get pixelated anyway, but have a middle finger on stage directly at.
No, what's funny is that that showed they could have had an Oscar-winning movie. Attributed to
technically they did. Technically they did.
I know Suicide Squad did win an Oscar, but it would have won anyway, because the Killer Croc is still in the Ayer cut, and the same like a costume version. By the way, they better pray the Ayer cut never comes out, which it totally will, because guess what? That's going to prove even more how much of a complete crapshoot this regime was.
November 5th. Which, by the way, Delaney, don't we have a show November 5th?
November 5th. Sorry.
Do we have a
show? Are we doing a show November 5th?
Oh, yeah. Yes, November 5th, guys. On my channel, Taladia Plays, I will be doing a show with Jared, which is Comics League, and I'll be doing it with Nick. Right? Yeah, and Nick. And we're going to be doing a special thing for the DC universe, right? And not only that, we will be also promoting Nick's Screecher on the panel, guys. So if you guys want to tune in for that, it's going to be an amazing thing where we talk about Screecher. You guys give your backstory about it, and we'll also be talking about DC Universe and like the whole big news about James Gunn and what they could potentially do for the future of DC.
Also, possibly Ayer Cut, because they've been heavily hinting that we're going to receive some Ayer Cut news November 5th. And so I have a feeling
because
we're gonna be talking Ayer Cut on that.
The rumor is, and it's a substantiated rumor, so it's not just like a some scooper is saying it. This is a substantiated rumor.
Actually, Taladia send me a link. I might be able to make that.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
I need to set that up first. Nick, what's it called? Jared's gonna help me with that.
I can help you this weekend, but anyway. The substantiated rumor, like this rumor has some legs, is that Ayer is going to be giving a screening of the Ayer cut to executives at Warner Brothers Discovery, ostensibly James Gunn included, because he will be in the position at that point. So what that could indicate, they could say, just drop it on
HBO Max.
on HBO Max. Done. Plus, it wouldn't take a year like it did the Snyder Cut to come out, because it's practically done. There's just a few tweaks that have to be done. So I could see it
6 months at most.
6 months at most. Oh, a month at shortest is what I would think, depending on how much work has to be done. But my point is, it won't be as long as the Snyder Cut. It's not going to be as expensive as the Snyder Cut. And all it's going to do is bring more people to HBO Max and bring more people to the Snyder Cut thing. And it would be a fantastic way for James Gunn to essentially win over some fans. In addition to calling up his old friend Zack and saying, come on and help me out here.
And a good middle finger to Hamada and the old regime.
Yes.
It's not only that Hamada was in the audience and Toby Emmerich was in the audience too.
This is how I want them to announce Man of Steel 2. Okay, whether it be on a live stream or on a stage.
I know.
And Nick Cavill pops up and he just rips open his shirt.
Rips the shirt. He's like...
And it's Man of Steel 2.
Well, no.
No, it's the Hans Zimmer theme.
Has to be because do what they did with use the theme that they used with Henry Cavill's agent, where she went into the phone and then transitioned to a different suit.
Yeah, and also here's another thing too. They already announced a Superman film already. Dawn of Hope. Right,
that's pretty much gonna be it's in all intents and purposes, it's a Man of Steel 2.
It's a Man of Steel 2 already, and
I mean, have they announced it, or is that just heavily implied?
It's in development. They have announced it's in development. The Hollywood Reporter broke the story.
But would Gina Carano be able to play any other character other than Big Barda? I can't think of another character with her build would she be able to play.
No, but
she could have played She-Hulk. She should have played She-Hulk.
She should have played She-Hulk. That would have been great.
Yeah, but I was going to say, bring this up with you guys as well, is that I know Nick was like thinking, the Man of Steel 2 situation. It's also confirmed that Charles Roven, who produced Man of Steel BVS and Zack Snyder's Justice League, is also going to be taking part in this film, Man of Steel 2.
Zack Snyder confirmed. Zack Snyder confirmed. I'm sorry.
There's too much. There's too many
We spent a week on this. Midnight streams back to back for 4 going on 5 days.
Yeah,
5 o'clock in the morning, my time.
There's too many things that have been happening this week alone that indicates Zack will be back at some point.
By the way, guys, these guys were live, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was
UK time.
Slacker.
Don't call me a slacker. It was 5
Come on, it's a time zone difference. Cut him some slack.
All right, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many tea and crumpets he can consume to keep himself awake.
There's only so much tea. There's only so many times I can recite the Declaration of Independence.
So I
stole that thing for you, so remember that.
Yeah.
So I was going to bring this up.
My name is Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to bring this.
I love J.H.'s face. He's like trying not to burst out laughing.
Claudia, go.
Waiting. They're going with Snyder. As I was saying, before I got rudely interrupted, I was gonna say that the whole thing with Zack Snyder's return is really.
We're going to edit that out.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Keeping that in. But go ahead, Lady. I'm sorry.
No, it's gonna. I was gonna say that the whole Zack Snyder's return, Henry Cavill's return. Snyder knew from day one what he wanted, and now he does. He still does. He knows what he wants. He wants a big event, right? And the Snyder Cut is a big event compared to Whedon's version. Ain't a big event. It should have just been put on streaming services. If I was WB, I would be like, "Oh,
Whedon's cut was a crime on cinema."
You know, it'd be hilarious. Yeah. I before we log off, this is the way I'm gonna bring this full circle. It would be hilarious if all of a sudden the Whedon Cut disappears from HBO Max. Can you imagine if they take off the Whedon Cut?
It is already off HBO Max.
It is? All right. Let me check that. It was there the last time I checked, which was yesterday. Let me see.
It should be. It should be off HBO Max.
There was a rumor that it was leaving HBO Max, because that would be hilarious.
That honestly, that's all but confirming Zack Snyder's coming back. Because if that's the only,
That's
version
all
they
but
have-
confirming that the Snyder Cut is canon.
Snyder
Wait,
Cut
no,
is
that does. No, that's not all but that does confirm the Snyder Cut is canon.
And
'Cause-
the fact
No,
that
it's
one
still
version
there.
of Justice
Right
League,
here.
yeah, it's
Still
there.
on.
Oh wow.
But I
I
heard
thought you got
rumors
rid of it.
that it is leaving soon. But here's the thing: if and when that happens, and the fact that the Snyder Cut has been used in every single marketing piece for the upcoming DC movies, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Snyder Cut's can. What's up to later before we log off?
I was gonna say also the Snyder Cut is canon in the UK. They no longer are premiering Whedon Cut on Sky Cinema. It's now just Zack Snyder's Justice League all the time, and when it's available.
There you go.
So at least one country has their
good
head on
taste.
straight.
Actually, you know what's kind of late? It's every country but America. Because if you notice, the Warner Brothers accounts for all the other countries openly promote the Snyder Cut.
They did, in the UK a year ago. They showed the I think it was first 10 minutes of the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It was on the WB UK and Ireland YouTube page.
And a lot. I'm not going to go too much into comics, but this is just how America's doing things. They rely too much on Twitter. You can use social media to an
Way
extent,
too much.
but they rely on Twitter way too much. I hope Elon,
10%, less than 10% of the comic book reading audience is on
if
Twitter
that,
or uses
If-
Twitter.
I'd argue 5%.
I'd argue 5, but and we
I
have
mean, as a
actual
person who-
the sales reflect it. Yeah, go ahead.
As a person who regularly sells at Comic Cons, and let me just tell you, the world is not Twitter. Like you're on Twitter, you're in this bubble, and you think, oh, these issues are important, and then you go to Comic Cons. People don't care. There is no Comicsgate. There is no anti-Comicsgate. There's just Comicsgate. I mean, there's comics and people's opinions on them. Like some people are more onto the SJW side, more people, but like they're not like the butting heads. It's like
And
Yeah,
before
most
we
of-
log
most-
off, but Nick, before we log off, I want you tell us again the story you were telling me about how when you were at that event, the comic shop, and everyone was praising the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was doing a comic event one time, and there a guy walked up to me, literally wearing a Zack are you wearing the hoodie?
No, I'm not.
The one time.
I'll go get it, but no.
He was wearing I think it was like a t-shirt.
A t-shirt
Like literally
version
they
of
had
it.
that exact symbol on it. And I was like, yeah, I like the shirt. Restore the Snyderverse. And then someone else kind of looked into it and kind of cheered as well.
Oh, before we log off, so remember, in that interview that Henry Cavill recently did, the one where Zach called in, so the dude goes at the very beginning, he goes, "Welcome back, Superman." The crowd cheers. Then all of a sudden, you hear some dude yell, "Restore the Snyderverse!"
I really love how the antis, they clip that and they say, "Oh, look at how much of an awkward laugh he has. Look how much Henry Cavill cringe." That is literally the I don't know. I'm not a social expert, but
When they
literally
did
that's the
select-
best they have.
When they did select screenings of the Snyder Cut in my local theater, there was this one just typical edgy kid, probably no more than like 16 or 17, said the Snyderverse, and then like 12 guys just jumped him right then and there.
It was kind of funny. Every time I walk into my local theater wearing that hoodie, inevitably someone's going to lean in and go, "Restore the Snyderverse." It's kind of like that. It's like Hail Hydra at this point. It was like, what?
I mean, it pretty much is.
As I'm
It
walking
is.
there, as I'm walking into my theater, some dude is about to pass me, and he has a smile on his face looking at me, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? He passed me and goes, "I love your hoodie. Restore the Snyderverse." More people are fans of the Snyderverse than social media will make you believe. Social media is just infested with the vocal and a-hole nostalgic minority fans. That's it. That's what it
Not
is.
even that. It's mostly angsty teenagers and anything, because half the time they don't even know what they be talking about.
Yeah, because they'll be like, Batman has never used guns in the comics, or Pattinson has never used guns. I've seen.
By that logic, man.
So before we log off, though, do you
Yeah.
mind if I say something about the show?
Go
for
ahead,
next-
Toledo.
next
Yeah, go
week?
ahead.
So next week it'll be around this time next week. I'm gonna be doing the show with Nick Phoenix Press and Giant from Comics League,
And hopefully
and
JD.
hopefully Jay. But it's gonna be early though. It's gonna be really early, for you guys on Saturday. But also this weekend, guys. Well, if you're watching this as a pod later on, this weekend, I'm going to be doing a podcast on the Inside the Multiverse YouTube page with my co-host DC Comic Gamer, as we're going to be talking everything Snyderverse and everything that's going on with James Gunn and all that. You probably don't want to miss that. We're going to be doing a review for Gotham Knights and Black Adam, so stay tuned for that.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, as a tease, because tonight we are going to be talking about Twitter, an entire team of data engineers at Twitter was just fired.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Elon Musk going pew
Yeah,
pew
so-
pew.
Yeah,
F you, F you, F you. You're cool.
he walked in with a sink and went, "Let that sink in." So
Hold
on
on,
that
hold on,
note,
hold
He did let
yeah,
it sink in.
yeah, go ahead.
You're fired. You're fired. You're all right.
By the
Oh,
way,
fine.
before I log
You're
off,
fired.
someone took that clip of him walking with the sink and changed the sink to like a TV screen of that one woman from when Trump won and going, "No!" It was so good. So on that note,
I also I would not be surprised if Elon went, "You fired." Like he literally
Yeah.
did like a Donald Trump impression, or I could just see him like handing a card that has Donald Trump, like just the Donald Trump meme says, "You're fired."
You're fired.
You know, like,
Yeah, that's what he does. Or like he walks out with like a paintball gun or like a squirt gun, going, "Shh, if you're hit, you're fired." But
that's lawsuit territory right
yeah,
there. But
on that note, we're gonna
Wait,
call it.
one
yeah,
last
go
thing.
ahead.
Stick around on Phoenix Press for Friday Night Frenzy. I'll be on.
I'll
his
promote
channel.
it. I'll promote
Okay.
it.
Lady will be there. My friend Jocelyn will be there, and maybe a few other people. Who knows?
We'll see.
Ooh.
And the first episode of Comics League Dark late tonight.
Mhm.
Hopefully,
I won't be
Toledo
there.
can be there as well.
I won't.
And on
I'll
that
be
note,
sleeping.
He'll be sleeping.
Excelsior.
'Cause he's a slacker. Excelsior, everyone. Stay work. Bye bye.